Good morning, Freedom Team. Monday, June 3rd. Summer is in full bloom. Thank you guys for coming this morning. As always, we're very excited. We've got a dynamic young lady here, a dynamic couple. I'm sure she'll talk about the both of them, but let's as I let a few in here, you know what? Let me, Kelly, give you the ability to let some folks in here.
Perfect.
Make you a
Happy to help.
co-host. You should be good. All right. So good morning again. Let's introduce Miss Angela. Quick little bio for you guys. Chuck and
Chuck's on
Angela
the phone too.
Fazio
Yeah,
have been in the
Chuck's
real
there.
estate industry together since 2001. They have been top producing agents and team leaders for the last couple decades. They were the owners and broker of an independent
What?
brokerage and grew it to 906 agents, doing 2 billion in production a year. They oversee more than 40,000 or they've overseen more than 40,000 transactions and 9 billion in production. And their brokerage was the largest single office independent brokerage in the nation. In early 2020, you guys, right before the pandemic, they moved their entire brokerage to DXP. Now they are helping almost 9,000 agents all over the country grow their business. They lead with a servant's heart and want to find ambitious agents, brokers, and owners to help build or help bless their business like they've been blessed. They've got 6 kids, 2 grandkids, and they love Jesus. Love Jesus. We got to emphasize that, gang. They run 5 businesses, including 2301 Sports Lounge, the Forum Lounge, an event center, and are the founders of Excel Training. In 22, they were named as one of the top 125 business leaders according to Success Magazine. Wow. Incredible. Chuckster, thanks for jumping on, brother. Got to support that wife of yours. I love it. Well, hey, why don't we start this way? Obviously, I'm not sure a lot of people, other than knowing your names, I'm sure just like me, other than reading what I've read there, don't know a lot of your background, how you guys got started. If you want to even share how you guys came together and met, was that in the real estate industry? Was it before? And then maybe take us on the journey up at least to the point before you jumped into DXP. Anything you'd want us to know about your background?
Well, I'm sure Chuck will have some things to say about my story, but um, I I started real estate in 2001. He started in where'd you start in 98? Yeah, so he moved up to Arizona from New York in 1998 and started in real estate, I think, in 99. And then we ended up meeting in 2001, my very first day in real estate. I had joined the team that he was part of. And so when I walked in, there were like 15 of us team members, and I was this is pre-Christ. I have to for both of us. This is
Okay.
pre-Christ. I was almost 30, and I was divorcing, and I was ready to not be broke. So that's why I got into real estate because I didn't want to be a broke single mother. I had a little baby, and so I sat in the front, very ready to learn. And so at the time, they had the team leaders, husband and wife. They had this humongous whiteboard, and the wife would write like listings and sales on the board from the team members. And all of a sudden, I hear this obnoxious voice from the back of the room, and he yells out, "Hey, Nikki!" And that's the wife. "Hey, Nikki, are you on a diet?" And so she turns around, all happy, and she's like, "Yeah, Chuck, can you tell?" And he said, "Yeah, I can see the board now." Yeah, exactly. Yes, I see that some of you understand. I was horrified, so I turned around and my first words to my wonderful husband.
Jet, she never turned around. Her head turned around, but the body still faced forward. It was like I witnessed The Exorcist.
Yes, so my first words to him was, "What are you, an asshole?" And then I berated him in front of the entire team, and that's how we met. So needless to say, we didn't date right away.
Love
Love
it
it first
first
sight.
listen. Wow.
No, we did not date right away. So we didn't start dating until maybe 2 or 3 months later. But once we did and we partnered, we have not spent one day. We got saved that later that year. And we had not spent one day apart since we've met and been together. And that's, 23 years ago.
Wow. Real quick, you said you both got saved together. So neither one of you were
Mhm.
saved until you met as a couple. Who influenced?
Correct.
How did that happen? Just real quick, if you don't
It
mind.
was separately. Obviously, it was near around the same time of each other, but it was definitely separately. The Lord saved us each
Wow.
individually. Yes,
That
of
is
course he
awesome.
did. But
Wonderful.
Yeah,
All right.
my testimony is actually televised on the 700 Club.
And so what do you just Google 700 Club? And how do you find it?
Yeah, if
I'll
you
put it
put
in the
my
chat.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, so you guys meet, you're part of another brokerage, it sounds like at that time, right? You're under another team at another So how did this thing evolve? How did you guys eventually spin off, start an independent and grow to this incredible 900 agents?
Well, we were at Keller, and
Uh-oh.
there's just something in my.
You're cutting in and out, Lovey.
Mhm.
So yeah, we were at Keller. We were actually at Keller Williams. Let me
Okay.
get back to the Zoom. And we were broke. I mean, when we were first together, when I say broke, it was like moving with his parents kind of broke. And
Wow.
so we got saved, and it wasn't because we got saved that things turned around. It I mean, obviously we give Jesus all the glory of why things turned around, but we don't say name and claim it. That's not what we're talking about. But we did. He told us to move from Keller Williams and go somewhere else. And so we did. And we went to just another brokerage, 100% brokerage, and our business turned around. And so we went from broke to, and this was way back when our home prices were like 180,000. So like
Yeah.
12 million in production and 17.5 million. We did work 7 days a week. It didn't magically turn around, but the light bulb went on. Some of the things, the light bulbs went on some of the things, and we're extremists. So we're both high D's on the disc profile. And so we literally for probably 4 or 5 years, we never took a day off, like maybe Christmas, maybe. And so
Wow.
we went from broke to the last year before we opened up our brokerage, we sold over 300 homes. It was like 40 million in production. So that was a radical change.
And did you have a team at that point? Was it just the two of you, or were you starting to bring on some buyer's agents and so forth?
The funny thing is Chuck and I love to tell the story because when we were broke and leaving Keller Williams, two of the girls on the team said, "Hey, we want to be on your team." And both of us were like, "What are you talking about? We don't have a team. We're broke. Like, why would you want to be on our team?" But they wanted to be around our energy and our passion and our determination and those qualities that they found attractive. And so we started a team because of those two girls. So it wasn't really an organized effort. People always think that we had this master plan for success. But I really think the secret sauce, other than the glory of God, would be sheer determination and really hard work. We just outworked everybody. That's why it's so encouraging when we talk to people, I think, because we didn't have this master success plan. The reason why we opened up a brokerage was not because we had this master plan of the next step. It's because we moved to another part of a suburb of Phoenix, and there wasn't an office that was close to us. And so the people that we work for said, "Well, why don't you open up your own office?" And we're like, "Okay." I mean, it was just okay. So this was the next thing we're going to do, and we both are very determined not to fail.
Yeah, yeah. It's right. We do something from fear or from right praise or whatever. Yeah. So one's going to drive us one or the. I'm the same way. I'm driven by fear more so than what I can gain from it. Okay, so let's go. So you spin off, you start your brokerage. Now, obviously, those two girls come over. What begins to what begins to transfer to the point of, oh my gosh, we grow this entire huge, largest independent brokerage in the U.S. Real quick, just take us through that. That's amazing.
Well, by the time I have to give Chuck a lot of credit because his mindset influenced over mine, and my mindset would have caused us to fail. So I'll explain that in a minute. But by the time we opened up our brokerage, we had, I think, maybe 20 team members. And so we had 20 of us, and we were all in it together. We brought in some of those team members as equity partners just to keep them in the game. It didn't work, by the way, but to keep them in the game. And so the first year, we didn't have an office. We were in a temporary space, and we literally sold our vision. And in the first year, we recruited, I think, around 80 people with no office, nothing really. Like, that's when we talk about agent attraction and people are like, "Well, I don't have any value." We had nothing except for an extravagant, exciting, passionate vision of where we were going. and
And
people
what
bought it.
was that? What were you saying at that time? What was the vision you were forecasting?
How would you describe it, honey? See if you can say it without breaking
You're
up.
probably good. You're probably good, Chuck. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm still gonna break up here.
You're
We-
good.
We sold the vision of relationships. So we were in the process of building a space, and we used to, we care about your clients, and we're gonna always make them feel special. So the office that we were building, we talked about how we would have people walk them in, how we'd have people greeting them. As owners of the company, we would be and our company, and we just, it was relationships. But I will tell you guys, if you want to be successful in anything, there's one thing that's more important than anything else, and that's passion. And you passion for something you don't understand or you don't believe. So when people become successful in EXP, and I know I'm jumping way ahead, if I asked any one of you to explain EXP to me, and I can't see in your eyes how much you believe in the company, you'll never convince anybody else. I always say people don't care what you know. People care how much you believe in it. And that is huge. So we believed in our own company, and people would join us all the time and literally say to us, I joined because I could look in your eye and know you believe it. And that's what I wanted.
That's interesting. You talk about passion. Obviously, Brentgo exudes it, right? My prior company I was with, the owner, I remember asking him, we recruited at another company I was at.
Hi, Courtney.
The owner, oh, Timothy. I remember asking him, I said, so, I mean, who do you look for? Who's the best person to bring on board and stuff? I remember him looking at me going, Sean, he goes, to me, it comes down to one thing, passion. He goes, I don't care what you're marketing. It could be poop in a bag, but if you're passionate about it, there'll be enough people that'll follow you. So it's that same thing you're kind of talking about. Passion, it exudes and people want to follow. It's a leadership style that a lot of people need. But anyway, so thanks for sharing that. So
Sean, one quick thing. You can't have passion in something you don't believe.
Nada del número dos, okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, you can't have passion in something you don't believe in. If you hear the phrase, you could sell ice to an Eskimo. The phrase really, what it means is that I really believe that ice is important to that Eskimo. If I didn't think it was important, I wouldn't have the passion to sell it. So just like you said, the poop, it's not the poop in the bag. Obviously, you have to believe something about that poop in the bag,
True.
or you're not gonna have passion about it.
Yeah. 100 sold to the core. You got to be 100% sold to the core. Totally get it. So you're on this journey. Obviously, it goes up to 80 something. Did it just the same thing just flow over the next few years? People almost telling other people, I mean, to grow to 900 agents, largest independent, when did that take place? What year was this all starting to grow, and when did you hit the peak?
So we never had one year that we went backwards. We always recruited more than we lost. And when I tell people, the reason why I think we have more resilience is because we experience what it feels like to have attrition in this industry.
Well, I'm gonna contradict her. We never went.
We're cracking up.
Can he come sit next to you, Angela?
Yeah, come sit next to me because you're just breaking up. I'm inviting you over.
Thank you guys for doing this. I don't know if you remember, the only time I've really been able to meet you guys is we were down in Puerto Rico. Got to hang out in the pool for a little bit.
Yes, we remember.
Yeah. So thank you guys for coming on and doing this.
No problem. So there we go. Now we want to break up.
There we go.
There we go. So go ahead. So you were saying between two and 300 agents?
Yeah.
Oh crap! I have my headphones in.
Uh-oh, not hearing you now. Maybe it's just connected to Holly. Got it?
There we go.
There we go. All right.
Okay. Sorry.
So I don't want people to think that we don't run into pitfalls. Yes, our agent count never went backwards, but between 2006 and 2008, we almost went out of bit, not 2006, 2008 and 2009, we almost went out of business. And it's because even though our agent count was up, production was absolutely horrible during those years. That's when the big crash hit. So what we do is we just, all we do is obviously trust in God and the work ethic he gives us. And we don't listen to the surroundings. We never listen to what other people have to say. And we just put our head down and work and just completely grind. You know, Sean, and you know this, whenever I speak, I always tell people to embrace the process and you have to trust the process. Listen, I don't care what you do. If you have passion and you grind, you'll always be successful. I don't care what market, I don't care what you're in. I'm not going to say you're not going to hit speed bumps, but remember, life is a journey, not a destination. And too many people live in this world, look for instant gratification, and they give up too early, and they're not willing to grind it out. You have to grind it out. We continue grind it out. We don't take our foot off the gas pedal, even at the level of business we're in right now.
One of the things that that we guard each other is our mindset, because we work very, very hard to keep the mindset that helps us to be successful. And there was a time around that 2008 period, there's a woman that we knew in our business who was also a business owner, and she almost got into our heads, you know, the doom and gloom, the, oh, here, whatever the narrative is of the season, you know, she almost got that negative mindset into our mindset, and we almost bought it until we caught it. And we were like, no, that is not the mindset of success. We're not giving up. So no one's immune to it. You have to guard yourself against that constantly.
Yeah. So what began to happen for you guys to make this move to EXP? Here you are running this, I'm assuming, very successful independent brokerage, but something had to have happened that made you guys transition over and tried to bring your entire brokerage. But yeah, share with that. What happened there?
So fast forward, it was, what year was it?
2018, 2017.
2017. Curtis Johnson, who was one of my agents, he ran his team at my brokerage. And, you know, me and Curtis were friends. And Curtis says, hey, look, I'm looking at this opportunity that Jay Kinder had told them about called the XP Realty. And I heard about the company because I was approached years prior, where nobody sold real estate at EXP. It was very beginning stages. So I said, well, Curtis, I don't know why you're telling me this. So just so you know, Sean, our brokerage was the #1 single office brokerage in the entire country. We were doing $2 billion in production a year. So I like people to know we were not in trouble. We weren't even close to being in trouble. If anything, we were continually growing and extremely successful. So Curtis said, hey, look, I'm thinking about going to this EXP Realty. You should check it out again because Jay Kinder and Mike Reese are looking at it. So I'm never opposed to looking at things. And I did. I looked at it. It was very interesting, intriguing, especially the type of guys that were getting into it. But I was a hard no. And then Curtis was a little persistent, and he got Glenn Sanford, the owner of EXP Realty, on the phone with me on a conference call. And basically, Glenn knew who we were. And Glenn said, listen, we're trying to get this company built. If you come over, I would let you come over and Angela could stay running the brokerage, but you would have to move your license. So I said, let me think about that. So we prayed on it, and I always look for opportunities. You know, you go through life one time, and I love challenges. But there was big challenges to go, if I did that, would that sabotage my successful company? Because people are going to go, why did the owner or one of the owners go to another brokerage? And would I destroy my brokerage based on a whim? Because EXP Realty was not successful. If anything, it was still a joke at the time. But we prayed about it, and we decided to take that chance and do it. And, you know, like we thought, a lot of naysayers came out, a lot of people spread lies and rumors saying that we were getting a divorce. That's why I moved my license. And but we don't care what people have to say. You know, we trust God, and we felt this was the right opportunity. So now 2 years go by, and now EXP is getting some traction. I'm watching my group build, and Glenn had approached us and said, "Hey, listen, you guys are two big names in the industry, and now that we're getting traction at EXP, a lot of broker owners want to come over, but they don't want to give up their company. And every time I tell them that can't happen, they all bring up you guys. And they go, how can Angela do that?" You know, almost like little kids. You know, if you have kids, they always pick kids. You go, well, why did Johnny get that? Anyway, so Glenn basically said, listen, I'm not going to be able to keep doing this because it's not good for the company. He goes, I need you guys to make a decision. It's either us or you keep your brokerage. And they gave us 6 months to do it. We were in constant prayer, constant meetings. They flew us to Vegas to have a meeting with Chris Bear and Sam Rodriguez at the time. And we knew exactly what they were doing. They had everybody jumping on the call.
Yes.
Brent Gove, Gene Frederick, you know, the
Yes.
schmoozing of us. I go, look, guys, I'm in sales. You don't have to feed me this whole crap. You don't have to tell me what I'm going to make. This is not about that. And you know what, Sean? It was a spiritual thing. That's all I could say to people. God just made it so clear that he says, you're going to move. Stop trusting in worldly things. Trust me. And it wasn't a trust of success. I just want people to understand this. It was a trust of God saying, this is what I'm telling you to do. And if you fail, there's a reason behind it. There's a lesson to be had. So we weren't going, oh, we're going to come over, and God said we're going to be hugely successful. And we did. It was the hardest thing we ever did in our entire life, because you got to understand, we just literally jumped off a building and did not know if we had a parachute.
We didn't have parachute.
Like this, if this did not, so just so you know, we share numbers. We're very transparent. We guesstimated when we made this move, we said, if 900 agents do not come with us, we have to be okay with it. Like, we can't go, we're making a move and this is many, or we're going to lose, or we knew we would probably lose about $1 million just in our first year. And then after that, if that continued, we'd be bankrupt and we'd lose everything that we built. And we did. We took the jump.
Well, we had the conversation. We literally said, and not, I won't say literally, but basically we said, are we going to be okay if it's just you and me in a paper bag? You know what I mean? We basically had that conversation, and we both decided that yes, we agreed that that's what God was telling us to do. And yes, we would be okay.
Like, we'll figure out something to make a living.
Yes.
But so when we did it, the industry, we were like the laughing stocks of the industry, because we didn't get paid not one penny. And we had offers for our company. We had offers up to $8 million to buy our brokerage. And we literally just closed it down overnight. The industry was like, are you kidding me?
They thought we had lost our minds.
Or they were telling our agents, oh, they made a deal and sold you guys out, which we didn't. We didn't get not one penny. And we lost 600 of our 900 agents. It was like a catastrophic fail. And a week later is when the pandemic hit. And quite honestly, although the pandemic wasn't a good thing, that was almost like a sign from God, because it's the pandemic that made people realize that working virtually can happen. And it's what really shifted EXPs. And if we would have still had our own brokerage, that pandemic might have put us out of business.
It may have, we don't know. And I want to back up for a minute, because I think it's really important to note that, because people are like, oh my gosh, you just closed down your brokerage. God had prepared us over the years of risk taking. So he started out pushing us to take smaller risks, leaving Keller Williams and going to the next brokerage when we were broke. Looking back, that's so silly. You need to do something when you're broke, but that was a risk. It was a risk for us to start a team. It was a risk for us to start our brokerage. I mean, there were bigger and bigger risks. In fact,
It was a risk for her to marry me.
it was a big one, but it paid off. And I'll tell you another big risk. We were a franchise holder when we first owned our own brokerage. And there was a point in time where we let go of the franchise and that was a risk, wondering if our agents were going to leave us. So God had prompted us many times, and we took bigger and bigger risks. They didn't all win. We did a lot of failing. So I don't want you to think every risk that we took was a win, but we didn't just one day wake up and say, let's close down a $2 billion a year brokerage. It was a process of taking risks and trying things. Right.
It's also a process of believing in yourself, your work ethics. You know, guys, you are your business. Look in the mirror. You know how hard you work. God, we say this to agents all the time who aren't succeeding. You know what you're really putting into it. If someone literally seen what me and her do 7 days a week, we live and breathe business, live and breathe it. And that means we embrace and love it.
Hmm. Yeah, and for those who I mentioned some of you guys have jumped in late, but they run 4 different businesses, just FYI. So working 7 days a week. So this is just one of the 4 businesses. I would assume, but then I don't want to assume, do you spend most of your time in real estate, or is it pretty diversified across those 4 businesses?
Sean, here's how it works right now. And yeah, since you brought up the other businesses, my background, if you read this, if you watch the 700 Club, and you'll see why it's so radical. I ran nightclubs for the mob. That's what I did. I was a drug addict. I was a drug dealer. I was one of the most degenerates you'll ever meet.
He really was. He's not lying.
Thank you. You don't have to emphasize it. But anyway, it's when we built the building we're in, there's a reason why I just brought that up. The building we own is 21,000 square feet. That was our real estate office. And inside our real estate office, there was a bar and a cafe, and it was really cool. So when we went to EXP, we're like, what the heck do we do with our building now? We own this building. So because my background is running clubs and I was in the bar industry, and I'm really big into marketing, we had a pivot, and this wasn't an overnight thing, and we sunk a lot of money. So our building is a sports bar, is a lounge, and it's an event space with co-working offices. It's one of the most unique concepts you'll ever see. But I will have to tell you, that is our big challenge right now. It is not easy building it. It's not easy growing it. It's a constant grind. It sucks because you deal with people who don't want to work.
I take a break and recruit.
You deal with,
Put it that way.
you know, I laugh at people that, God, if all I had to do was recruit agents, that'd be like working in Disneyland. I mean,
I'm like, honey, I need a minute. Can I go recruit for a second?
Yeah.
I need a minute.
Well, that's good for all of us to hear that might look at recruiting being hard. To you guys, that's a break compared to the other.
Oh my gosh. I go, if I had to just do one thing for a living, I'd be bored.
All right, well, let's jump into the attraction. I'm sure a lot of folks want to know. Yes, so you had about a third come with you, right? About 300, you said?
Yeah.
So take us along the journey. I know you guys been here now, is it about 5 years? Six?
He's been here since January of 2018. We shut down the brokerage in February of
So
2020.
I'm here a little over 6 years. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So take us down the journey. So it goes 300 come with you. What did you guys start to do now to grow this? Because I know for those who, again, just jumping on, they're building 2 organizations. Obviously, I'm assuming Angela within Chuck. Chuck's got 40 FLQAs and 8,706 total. Angela's got 27 FLQAs and 737 total. So obviously you guys now are over 9,000 agents combined. Take us from 300 agents. How did this start to happen, and how are you bringing them in, and up to what are you doing today, so people specifically can kind of hear what's going on?
So I'll tell you the first thing, first and foremost, you have to know your product. Look, when we were Revelation, it was our company. We knew it inside and out. We were the ones who called the shots. We were the ones who did the training, whatever. Our first thing is, and we did this prior to making the move. Obviously, we wouldn't have made the move if we didn't know the product inside and out. When I say know the product, I should be able to quiz each and every one of you, and you should tell me all the type of training that EXP offers, all the tools and systems, and tell me who's in leadership. Tell me why are they in leadership. Tell me what they do in leadership. You see, guys, if you don't know your product inside and out, you cannot have passion, you cannot sell it. So first and foremost, me and Angela had to believe this company was the best company for an agent to succeed at. That's one. The second part, when people say, Chuck, tell me the difference between EXP Realty and every other brokerage out there at the time, I said that answer is simple. It's one word: opportunity. Now watch what I'm saying to you guys. There's not one other brokerage, or back then, there's a couple now, but there's no other brokerages that could afford you the opportunities EXP Realty can. So what are the opportunities? The opportunities are to become a really successful real estate agent, first and foremost. The opportunity to build your own business. It's another opportunity. The opportunity to have ownership in the company you work at. Those three opportunities are better than anything else out there. So that's your foundational point. If you guys on this call don't understand those three opportunities and don't believe in everything that you're in the right place, either you need to grind out the rest of your life not being successful, or get your butts and understand what I just told you.
So I have a gift for you, and I'm putting it in the chat right now. It's a living document. So I would suggest not downloading it, but rather using the link. Our team put together.
And this is not a team thing.
No,
So,
this is general. This doesn't have.
so Sean, you could use this.
Yeah, you can change
Thank
it
you. Yes.
and make it your own. You can do whatever you want. What we did is we gathered what we thought were the most significant, the most significant bulk of what EXP offers in terms of training, resources, tools, you name it. And we put it in a live document that's just links. So you don't have to go find and gather this stuff. Sean,
Nice.
take it, change it, make it whatever you want. It's pretty much generic. You can copy some of the things that you see there if it's not generic, and use that to study EXP. At least that would give you the bulk of it. And so after you really know your product, you won't be able to help it but get excited. Then it's a matter of deciding how are you going to use what EXP offers. This is what I would do if I was still in production. What am I going to do and use to make my business more robust and fantastic? How am I going to become more excellent? And then when you become more excellent with it, it's going to give you the confidence and the passion for the company.
Yeah, you know, here's a mindset that I every time I speak, I want to walk away going, I hope I touch someone's life today. I hope someone on this call literally got what I said. And the reason why I say that is because many years ago, when I started, right before I met Angela, I moved from New York, got into real estate. I knew nothing about real estate. So not only did I know nothing about real estate, I knew nothing about business, and I was in a brand new state.
And he was a degenerate.
And I was still a degenerate. Right? Yeah. Anyway, but you had to throw that in, now didn't you? Anyway, somebody at Keller Williams said, you got to go to this seminar. I don't even know what a seminar is. And I went to a seminar. It was a Brian Buffini seminar. And I sat in there. Guys, I want you to understand this. I was broke. I was going through a divorce. My life was hell. And I had no money, living with my parents at the age of 30-something years old. And Brian Buffini's on stage. I don't even know who the hell he is. And he said, he had everybody at a book, and he goes, write down your BHAG, which is your big, hairy, audacious goal. And he literally said to everybody, think crazy. Like if you were able to say, if you could do this, if you could make this amount of money or whatever it is, write it down. And I'm sitting there going, seriously? Like if I made $1,000 this week, I'd be thrilled. But here's what I did. I go, all right, I'll get ridiculous. I wrote, I hope one day I make $1 million. But you know what? I didn't believe it. I didn't feel it. I didn't know anything about it. But you know what? I look back on that today and I go, somebody changed my life. Somebody instilled something that a peon like me, a wretch like me, could be successful. Guys, I do not have anything special. There's nothing special about me. Maybe her. I mean, look at her. She's beautiful. But I am nothing special. And what I'm trying to say is there's not one person on this call today, I don't care how young or how old you are, that this company gives you the opportunity to radically change your life if you wanted it. Now, I understand there are people that never get an opportunity. It's very hard if you have no opportunity. But the day you signed up for eXp Realty is the day you just bought an international real estate brokerage that you own. That means nobody could stop you from recruiting and building your company. And I'm telling you right now, it is life-changing money. You own it. It doesn't have to cost you another penny. Guys, we could do it by grinding and believing our product. So could you. So, Sean, you at the beginning, you said, what did we do when we closed the brokerage, got the 300 agents that moved over? Here's what I told every agent. Today, when you signed up for eXp Realty, you just purchased something that if you wanted to, could change you and your family's life forever financially. Guys, this is a company that not only could you make 1,000 month residual, 10,000 residual, 50,000 residual. I'm going to tell you, you can make up to $300,000-$400,000 a month residual. That's not a hypothetical, that's a reality.
So,
Guys, go get it.
so if we're going to get really practical, I would say that there's a couple of things that you need to think about. Don't let these words come out of your mouth, but I don't have anything of value. That we hear that so often, and that has to be the most frustrating statement ever, right? Everyone does. Everyone has their strengths, right? So
Yeah.
when I said before, use EXP and the resources to become more excellent somehow. And then then that's where you can start. Whatever that is, you can start with that and you can tell your story of what EXP has done to your business. When you're talking to people, you guys, anybody in production has has an advantage over me and Chuck, a total advantage, because we are no longer in production. So we are not in the daily exercise of being naturally in front of agents. We have to be intentional to get in front of agents. We have to do things you don't have to do to get in front of agents, right? And then when you're talking to those agents, your job is not to sell them EXP. Your job is to know enough about the resources and the benefits of EXP so that when you're talking to them and you're hearing what they perceive they need or what they perceive as painful for them, that you can say, I might be able to help you.
And you have a great leader in Sean. I'm going to tell you guys right now, leverage that man.
Wait, didn't he give you one of your favorite shirts?
No,
Oh, okay.
leverage that man. And he definitely will help you. That's the beauty of EXP, your partners. You don't need to know it all to get started.
Okay, what do you do to guard your mindset? How do you approach an independent today? Well, okay, mindset, that is a daily thing. You have to guard your mindset every single day.
Well, could I answer? I don't know how you're going to answer it. Go ahead.
There are several things that we do. Number one, we say in prayer and we say in the word. That's the most important thing you can do. And number two, we are constantly challenging each other. Like if my mindset's bad, he's calling me out. If his mindset's bad, he's calling, you need people who will call out your mindset.
You know, one of my favorite scripture verses, and whether you're a believer or not, you should take this to heart. As iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. That reality is so true, guys. Who you surround yourself with matters. That is probably the easiest thing to do and one of the hardest things to do. Stay around negative people, stay around unsuccessful people. They will suck you into their world. Stay around positive people, successful people. They will suck you into their world. choose which world you want to be sucked into. Guys, it's that, I'm literally telling you, it's that important. Me and her, we are the iron to each other.
Hmm. That's awesome. It's funny. My wife's been saying it for years, and it still sinks in, and I slip from time to time, where you just say a comment that is a negative. God, that happens all the time. Or just, and she's always correcting me, which is to me is a God thing. It's deep in her soul, and every time she says it to our kids too, and to my mom. But all of us, every once in a while, will say something negative, and you're like, "Well, look, it's going to keep happening." You keep saying. So, thank you for that.
Look, we permeate sin. It's a sin
We're
problem.
saturated.
You know, like I said, whether somebody believes in the Bible or doesn't, I'm going to tell you, look at this world. There's not one person that says there's something wrong with this world. And the answer's in the Bible. It's called sin. It permeates throughout. We're fighting it constantly.
So let's do this for everybody here, and thank you guys for all the info. This is kind of a different spin on everything, but I want you guys to know, let's kind of summarize for a minute. First of all, you got to be sold to the core, right? Thank you for sending all those links. If you're not familiar with everything EXP can offer you and other agents, team leaders, and brokers, first of all, get familiar and sold to the core, right? Then it comes with protecting the mind, the mindset. For all of you guys that don't know, I'm sure you do, freedomteamsupport.com. We have an area that's got a ton of mindset. If you just start, there's a lot of them are 5 and 6 minute videos. Other than if you're a believer, other than reading the word in the morning, man, start your day out before you make the first call or first appointment. Go listen to one of those little 5, 6, 7 minute videos. Get your head straight. Let's jump in now. Here we are today. For those that are on, I do have a handful of agents on the team that also don't sell because they've now built up either enough stock or rev share where they're doing this full time. Others I know have been on here, got a handful of agents. Some got 50 to 100. Some are still going, I got to get this thing started. You know, we got a combination. What would you say to all of us right now? If we're starting today, square one, what would you say to somebody to begin building the rev share in conjunction, either with production or if they're going to do it full time?
I would say don't fool yourself. You can't talk to a very few amount of agents and think that that's going to turn into a win. Just like when you're brand new in real estate and you have to prospect like crazy, the same thing happens with agents. It's just easier because they already have their hand raised, I'm an agent. It's kind of like a for sale by owner already has their hand raised, they're a seller. We already identify ourselves. And then you have to figure out how God has wired you, because you do not need to do it like anybody else. You find out how God has wired you. I'm not social, neither is he. We're total introverts. So we're not going to go and put ourselves in like, let's go all have coffee and blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do that. We're going to approach it differently because of the way we're wired. So you decide how are you wired and what would be a more natural way of getting in front of agents. And then you have to be extremely intentional and you have to make time and effort to make that happen on a daily basis.
So I'm going to backtrack. That comes second. Everything Angela told you comes second. If you don't have a unique selling proposition, if you don't have a script, so here, if you're all real estate agents, you would not show up on a listing appointment not knowing exactly what you're going to say and why they should use you. You wouldn't do that. You'll never get the listing. It's the same thing. So even though what Angela's saying is correct, you can't show up at a networking event and have no idea what you're going to say or try to wing it every time. You will fail miserably every time, and then you'll get frustrated, and that's why you give up. When you have a script and you stick to a script, and when I use the word script, it's the same thing over and over. It's something that's natural to you. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to recruit agents by calling them up and go, hey, you want to hear about EXP Realty? You will not. You will grind and grind and grind and be unsuccessful and go, this does not work. And you're going to be right. That won't work. You have to meet their needs. So here's what I'm going to explain to you and how you meet their needs. If you are a real estate agent, well, you are, and you're struggling, and you're not getting anything from your company, you have to say to yourself, what would make you look at another company? What would be of value? So some of the things of value is if someone said to you and you were struggling, and I said to you, hey, listen, how's your real estate career going? And they go, well, not that great, not selling that many homes, you know, all this buzz out there with these new changes and stuff. Go, hey, if I showed you a way that you can get some great training and sell more homes, would you be interested in hearing about that? Where did I ever say EXP Realty? Never. You see, the problem with most recruiters or people who want to recruit, they just vomit EXP Realty on them. That's not what you're going to do. That's why I say learn the company. When you learn the company and you see the tools and the trainings, you should say to yourself, oh my gosh, I didn't know we had that. That could help my business. Well, if it could help your business, it could help their business. So that's what you want to do. Dive into EXP Realty first and start jotting down bullet points to go, what did I just hear that could help me sell more real estate? Once you understand that, there's a lot of stuff. Now you formulate your script. So now when I'm out and about, here's what I would say. So if I met Angela and she's a real estate agent or we're having a cross sell, I'm going to first build rapport. People want to work with people they like. So I'm not going to dump on them. I'm going to get to know Angela. Hey, Angela, how are you? How long you been in the business? Oh, I've been in this many years. Oh, great. Excellent. How's your business going right now? You know, because there's like a lot of buzz out there and people are saying they're going to tell you if you befriend them. And then you say, hey, if I was able to show you something that could help you get a few more houses under your belt, a few more sales here, not, hey, if I showed you how to sell 300 homes, they're not going to listen. If I could show you how you could sell maybe 4 or 5 homes a year, would you at least be interested in hearing about that? No obligation, no cost, not selling you anything. I'm experiencing it because I see it.
Mhm.
Okay. And then they go, no, watch. Let's go negative, because you could easily overcome negatives once you prepare for it. So they go, you know what? I'm not interested. Go, oh, I respect that. Hey, let me ask you a question. Could I follow up with you in a few months? Maybe in a few months you might be interested. You see, guys, it's prospecting just like you do in real estate. Now, if you're failing in real estate, it's because your prospecting sucks. So you're going to suck at recruiting too. It's prospecting. It's setting the next appointment. It's giving value. It's touching on them. And guess what you're going to do when you say, hey, can I follow up with you in maybe a month or so, see how you're doing? You know what they always say? Sure, why not? You know why they say that?
Non-confrontational.
Non-confrontational, and they don't believe you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you are going to do it. Now you have a database. You see, we have a database of agents. Our agents sometimes take a year before they come over.
Mhm.
You see, it's a journey, not a destination. Guys, you got to have a plan.
So I got one more thing for you. Would you say most agents are disciplined and they have a plan, or undisciplined and have no plan? You know, probably undisciplined and have no plan. And EXP, just here's an example. EXP has a program right now that the pilot's going to start June 17th. It's called Fast Cap. You may or may not be able to get a spot. And if you're interested, I'll send Sean the information to see if you can still get a spot. Fast Cap, what they did is they took first year agents. Now don't let me lose you at first year agents. Hold with me. First year agents who capped or better
In 1 year.
in 1 year,
First year.
their first year. And they interviewed them all and they said, why did you have that success? And they pulled all this information from these first year successful agents. And then they put together something called Fast Cap. And it's just like it sounds, Fast Cap. And it's not just for new agents, it's for anybody who needs to insert discipline and a plan of productivity into their life, right? Into their life as an agent. Let's say you knew about that, or you said, gosh, I could use that. I could use some more discipline and a better plan. And you could either go through it and make a believer of yourself and change your business, or you could be like we would be, who wants to do this with me? Come one, come all, come do this with me and let us form a community of we're going to change our careers. It doesn't really matter, but that's a great example of something specific you can do that could totally alter the way that you do business, and you can connect the dots into
And the
recruiting.
company offers
And it's
that.
free.
So, you know
For
what?
us.
Just hear what Angela said. If you had a place that they gathered all the information of every brand new agent in their first year that capped, that are going to share all their secrets, did that just go to you? Holy shit, do you want to hear? Is that something that would entice you? That you want to hear what every one of those agents did to be successful? Does that sound exciting?
Absolutely.
You see, that's what you're selling. Now, if you went through that or knew about that, Think about all the agents. Guys, there's over 1 million real estate agents throughout the country that are struggling. If that excited you, do you think it would excite them? You see, those are the type of things you want to learn.
Very nice. And you guys all know this, and most of you guys are on here all the time. freedomteamsupport.com, guys. We have scripts over there. We have the latest one that one of our all-stars has been using, Eric, but it's a script that you start with the foundational piece. And the one thing we teach a lot, you guys, to those who are in production wanting to get rev share going, we always just say, make 5 calls a day. 5 calls every single day. You'll probably reach 2, maybe 3, and eventually you'll get to where you'll have like a 50-50 setup for a Zoom or meeting them, but it's just consistently making the 5 calls a day leads to eventual success. Same thing if you were calling FSBOs. You did 5 a day, eventually something's going to happen. Real quick, let me open up to you guys. We got about 8 to 10 more minutes, but Kelly, any of you guys on here want to ask another question? Tim, I see Mr. Rick Forget. Some of you guys right now that I know you jumped on here for a reason. Some of you I don't see that often, but man, fire away. You've got a very dynamic couple who's got almost 10,000 agents on their team and running 4 businesses and still making this happen. Question from anybody?
I can see some questions in the chat. First of all, I want to share an idea I just had. If I were trying to get my recruiting game going, I would take Fast Cap, but I would apply it directly to recruiting instead of to real estate. That's what I would do. And Sean, I'll get you the registration. I don't know if because the first one is a pilot. I don't know if there's any more spots, but I'll get you the registration so you can share it with your team.
Thank you.
That's what I would do. So if some of you are like,
Don't answer questions.
okay, Kelly says, I have a meeting with an independent today with 22 agents. What pain points would you ask about? I would. Wow.
Can I answer that question? I'm going to answer that question. Would you like to build a business that has no walls, that has no overhead,
no
no
liability,
liability, no anything?
potentially no staff?
You don't have to worry about keep reinventing the wheel because technology keeps changing.
Oof.
You could literally say to them, you could build your business on EXP platform. One of the things I say, because we've owned brokerages, this is what I say. I don't even call EXP Realty a company. What I say, it's a platform. It's a platform to you to build your business on. So it's the same thing with brokerage owners. I say that all the time. I go, you're going to keep the same brand, the same everything else. You're just going to build your business on their platform and now be able to build it all over the world. How exciting is that?
One of my biggest joys of EXP is by the time 15 years went by and we were running our brokerage, I was spending 90% of my time doing things I don't like and only 10% of the time of doing things I like. Now it's not completely flip-flop, but almost.
Love it. Love it. And like you said, to you guys, a getaway is recruiting from running your other 3 businesses. That's awesome. All right, another question here. Is there anything else there in the chat? I think we've got that.
If you missed the Fast Cap on June 17th, they're starting it, they're resuming it like as a regular thing in September.
Sean, I'm going to go out on the limb for you here.
Okay.
To the woman who asked about that brokerage. I will say this. We do have an unfair advantage when it comes to brokerages, because when you speak to broker owners as an agent, unless you seriously really have a close relationship with them, they really don't take your advice seriously because they think they're better than you. They're like, you're just an agent, I own a company. Here's what I'm going to do. If you can get that broker owner on the phone with me, I will close him for you.
Thank you.
Kelly,
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And the way you say it, hey, listen, if I can get you, and this is the way you phrase it, if I can get you on the phone with a guy who ran the largest single office brokerage in the country, who's been over at EXP, if I can get him on the phone with you so you could pick his brain, would you do it?
Thank you so much, Chuck. That's awesome. Wonderful. All right, guys, we got 5 more minutes. Anybody got a pressing question? Anything? It can be basic, it can be difficult. Well, how about I'll say this, or I'll ask this. You know, everybody's got different ways of attracting, right? There's some people that have now got such a social media presence. Some folks are calling them, and that takes a while to build it. I know we got a handful of doing that today. But if you were picking up the phone, like I said, and just making those 5 calls, would you guys just give me an example? If you were just gonna, or do you ever do that? Do you ever make an outbound call to another agent to try to attract them, or do most people come to you because of your presence and
Most people
credibility?
do not come to us. We have we have items of value or call to actions that
Yeah.
people respond to, and then we can appropriately respond. We are not fortunate enough that people come out of the woodwork and talk to us.
I'm going to share a mindset that I'd like each one of you to have. Because as agents, sometimes they don't know this. Once again, I'm going to go, there's probably 1,300,000 agents that are licensed just in the United States, 1,300,000. That's your playing field. That's what your recruiting pool. Now, out of that 1,300,000, I would go on the limb and say probably 900,000 of them, 900,000 are not making a living at real estate. They're hurting. They're at brokerages, believe it or not, that offer nothing. There are brokerages that, believe it or not, actually charge more split than most companies. They're hurting and they're at bad brokerages. It's your obligation to save them.
I agree.
That's how we look at it. I look at it like I'm helping someone, not as I'm bothering them.
And we don't talk anybody into any.
That's why, if you don't believe you have something of value, that's why you feel the way you do. I believe every agent I speak to who does not come with me made a huge mistake in their business. I believe that to my core.
So obviously you guys are, if you make that outbound phone call, like you said, you're adding value, you're starting to ask questions, trying to find their pain points and so forth. Do you have any, so do you guys invite them? Like you said, you're trying to help them grow their production, right? This is all about how can we help them? That should be are you inviting them to your masterminds and so forth to help with their production? Do you start to kind of coach them? Where do you guys go with it?
So when I talk to agents, like say, for example, let's say I'm trying to help agents who perceive that they need a team, right? Let's say they perceive they need a team. I'm going to try to discover why they believe they need a team, because that's pretty specific. I could say, hey, who out there thinks they need a team, that a team would help them? And then you get good at asking the right questions so you can discover what is it that they're looking for? And sometimes what they're looking for is a team. And then I can help match them with a team. But sometimes what they're looking for, they didn't know how to express it. So they just said, I need a team. And we're able to meet those needs through some of our resources or the resources that EXP has without not having to join a team. So it's really about starting with something they think they need, and then trying to figure out what that really is so that we can see if we can help them.
Yeah, don't assume you know what someone needs. I'll give you a line that I use for broker owners, but you could actually use this for agents. There's 2 things I always start out my conversation with when I get on the phone. The first one is, where do you see your business in 5 years? And I ask them, and I shut up and I let them answer. And some people really go in depth. And then after they answer that, I file that in my mind. And then I said, where do you see your life in 5 years? And you know what you typically hear? You typically hear people going, I want to get out of the rat race. I want to create enough income. Because once I hear that, then I go, where you're at right now and what you're doing right now, is that capable? Are you capable of achieving those goals? And I'm going to tell you, 9 out of 10 times they're not. And that's when you say, listen, I hear that's where you want to go, but what you're doing right now is not going to get you there. If I was able to show you something that can get you there, would you be interested in hearing about it?
It's so interesting. You know, when you say it, you're sitting there, at least I am going, that's very basic. It's very elementary. But if
Basic.
we're not asking the right questions and going down that path again and having the confidence, believing in your heart of hearts that this is the best place for an agent. So that's some good stuff. Just those.
Sean, you want to hear something funny that I love? Do you know how many agents I talk to that say they love where they're at? And when I ask those questions and stop bringing them down a path, within 10 minutes in the
They're
conversation,
complaining.
they're literally bashing the company that they're at because they're not doing what they said to do to get them there. It's the funniest.
I love it. Hey, let me ask you real quick as we wrap this. How often do you guys sit down and do this for other agents, team leader, throughout EXP? You guys asked to do this all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys normally get together like this and do it as a couple?
Yeah, usually, but we're out of town right now, so usually we'll be done different computers, but right next to each other.
Yeah, usually he's like at one table and I'm at another. I'm sitting on the floor right now, if you can't
Yeah, I
tell.
Well, you guys, thank you, man. Congrats on your success. Love the whole thought of and I know we don't have time for it right now, but I've heard Chuck go into detail, maybe some of you guys at some of the events on his upbringing before being saved. It's almost shocking to think where you've come from. So first of all, praise God on what they've done to the two of you, and especially you, Chuck, to come from your background and to be poured into people right now and just completely, I love the idea of helping change their life in so many different ways. So you guys are a huge blessing. Do you want me to send this recording over to you, being that you do these probably every week? Do you,
No,
you want?
we're good, but can I leave it off at one thing, Sean?
Yes, please.
Listen, guys, if I am very bold in my faith, I don't judge people at all. I love people. Biblical Christianity is not about judging. And I hate when I hear people who say they believe in Christ that judge or condemn or not love on people. I will tell you this, we live in a tough world, guys, and it's only getting worse. And if you're struggling and you honestly don't know the Bible or who this God is, I with all my heart go at least seek. That Bible is full of words that will help your business. It's mind-blowing, and then it will help your life. So if you're struggling out there, please seek, guys. Don't pawn it off or base it off of, well, I met these believers and they're judgmental. And it's not about rules, it's about a relationship. And what God did in my life is nothing short of miraculous. I can't explain it. Watch my video and
I
you'll
put it up there.
understand.
Love it. And if I had any one little thing to add to that, when I first got saved back in 04, you guys, one of the guys said, look, if you want to just spend some time in just one of these books, go read Proverbs. And you tell me if you won't get so much wisdom by just
Wisdom.
in reading Proverbs. I mean, you can sit and read each one and kind of think about it. I mean, it goes on. Anyway, that was a big change of me to go, wow, I didn't even realize that existed before 04 in the Bible. So,
Yeah.
hey guys, thank you. Thank you. Again, congrats on your success. Thank all you guys for jumping on here. Obviously, we'll have this uploaded into the Freedom Team Workplace group later today or tomorrow. Otherwise, again, Chuck, Angela, thank you. Thank you, everybody else. Let's make it
Thank you for your time, everybody.
guys.
God bless you.
God bless you, man. Appreciate it, gang. Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.